Hi guys, welcome to Happy High Tarot. In today's reading, we're finding out how does your crush feel about you. So this is going to be an extended reading. First, on YouTube, we'll find out how does your crush feel about you. Do they talk about you with their friends and how do they think you feel about them? And then in the extended version, the links to which are in the description box, we'll find out why haven't they made a move yet, what are their sexual fantasies about you, and do you have a future with them? So stick around. You can see an image on your screen right now. You've got 3 options to choose from. Feel free to pause the video over here, pick whatever option calls out to you the most, head to the timestamps in the description box, and let's get started. Hello group 1, if you guys chose the first option, let's find out how does your crush feel about you. So for that, we have the Queen of Cups and we have the 10 of Swords. All right. So this crush of yours sees you as a bit of a heartbreaker. Actually, not a bit. I would say with the energy of the 10 of Swords over here, it's a lot. With the Queen of Cups being present, this crush of yours, and by the way, this reading is not for celebrity crushes. So if you're watching for celebrity crushes, please feel free to click off at this instant. All right, now coming back to this real world crush who's aware of your existence, they are absolutely, I would say, spellbound by the way that you look. There's just something about you which is so ethereal, is what I'm being told. And if you are a feminine, there's this something about your allure, your beauty, this very soft feminine energy. In general, you might have very soft facial features, which this crush of yours absolutely adores. I'm hearing adorable again and again. So they find you to be extremely adorable. Even if they haven't had much one-on-one interaction with you per se, they might have been there when they've seen you speaking to other people. And the way you interact with others is always very calm, it's always very centered, it's always, I mean, they would say that you're a soft-spoken person. They would say that there's this innate kindness in you which reflects in how you behave with others and how you deal with others. In fact, with the Queen of Cups and the 10 of Swords being side by side, they think of you, or they feel like you're someone who is no less than an earth angel, honestly, because you have this ability. They don't know how you do it, they have no idea how you do it, but they are convinced that there's something about you which makes a person forget about their pain, forget about what's bothering them while they're in that moment, while they're making conversation with you. Maybe they've experienced this firsthand. Maybe that's how you guys met for the first time. For example, let's say that if you're a nurse or if you're a doctor, maybe this is someone who visited you, and the way you spoke to them, the way you cared for them, that stayed with them. Just an example, of course. But it's highly likely that either they've experienced this healing power themselves, or they've seen you exhibit it while you're talking to other people. This crush of yours feels that you are a very high value person. You know your value, you're very rooted in your self-worth, which is why also they feel like you're not the type of person who would that easily agree to go out with just about anyone or settle for just about anyone. And that's another reason why with the 10 of Swords over here, they seem rather convinced that you might have broken a lot of hearts, because the kind of person you are, how you are as a person, how you look as a person, they are convinced that people come to you in flocks, but because you know who you are and you know what you deserve, you do not say yes to everyone. And so that way they think that you are a heartbreaker. And it's interesting because while on the one hand, that's what they think, that's what they feel, that you must have broken many hearts, at the very same time, they also see you as this healer, as someone who has the ability to soothe people, to calm people. Also, if you've ever worn some off-shoulder dresses around them, they think you look absolutely cracking in those. All right, now let us see, does this crush of yours talk about you with their friends? For that, we have the Queen of Pentacles and we have the Tower. They do speak about you with their friends, group 1. In fact, there might be a woman in particular, some woman that they're close to, a friend of theirs, might also be a sibling if they have a sister whom they discuss you with. And here's the thing, with the Queen of Pentacles being present over here, their friends actually seem to be very encouraging. They tell them things like, oh yes, you should definitely go for it, you have what it takes. Group 1 would be lucky to be with someone like you should make your move, you should go talk to them, you should go tell them how you feel. But it seems over here with the Queen of Pentacles in the Tower that each time their friends or this sibling of theirs or this this woman that they're friends with kind of eggs them on about this, it just gives them cold feet. It just kind of does something to their nervous system over here with the energy of the Tower, that no, are you guys mad? What are you talking about? Her, you think she's going to say yes to me? She, who I'm absolutely convinced is a heartbreaker, you think she's going to say yes to me? That's not going to happen. And I can't just, spring my emotions onto her like that. What if she's not ready? What if she thinks I'm an idiot? So while this crush of yours discusses you, a lot of their own insecurities tend to come to the surface. I'm also being told, Group 1 with the Tower, that whoever it is that they discuss you with, they do or they have actually been going around snooping, finding out whether you're single, whether you're taken, who were your exes, what are they competing against, things like that in general. What I like about whoever it is that they're talking to over here is that they all seem very supportive and very encouraging of this match. But it is this person, this crush of yours, who, like I said, tends to withdraw at that, which of course more of it will be covering in the extended, why exactly that happens. So, okay, now let us see, how does your crush think that you feel for them? And for that, we have the 8 of Wands and we have the Ace of Wands. So this is interesting. I do feel like this is someone who, for whatever reason, you guys do get an opportunity to speak to each other. So conversations have happened in the past. However, the 8 of Wands tells me that all of those could have been very fleeting conversations. I don't think it was some such thing where you guys ended up speaking to each other nonstop for hours. It hasn't happened. They would love for that to happen. But for now, with the energy of the 8 of Wands, your crush thinks that you haven't actually spoken to them enough to really get to know them as a person. They've assessed what they had to about you, but when it comes to them, they think that you don't know much about them. You don't know as much as there possibly is to know about them. With the energy of the Ace of Wands, sometimes your crush thinks, they're not sure about this, all right, this is like a come and go thought, but sometimes they think that you are also attracted towards them, which of course we know to be true because this is your crush after all for whom you're watching this reading. So they do have an inkling about this, but they're not sure, all right, they're not certain. They just think that you might also be into them, but the kind of conversations you guys have had or the duration of those conversations just does not add to your crush's confidence about how real this thought of theirs might be. Plus, with the energy of the 8 of Wands over here and the Ace of Wands, it seems like there are a lot of people at any given point of time around you whom you're talking to. Perhaps you have a client-facing role, the environment that you function in can be any reason, but they've seen you interacting at any given point of time with multiple people, right? So they know that your attention, or they think that your attention isn't exclusively focused on them, and that kind of bugs them. They are bothered by it. With the 8 of Wands over here, sometimes your crush thinks that you only notice them in passing, and it's not like you've ever really gone out of your way to have a discussion with them or to have a conversation with them. They try to come up with excuses on your behalf that, oh, she must be busy, and of course, what am I thinking? Why would she do this? Why would she just randomly come up to me? And what would we even talk about? She does not seem like the type of person who would be into small talk. So, they try to convince themselves that, oh yeah, she did not stop to talk to me for more than 2 seconds because she's got XYZ to attend to. But with the 8 of Wands and the Ace of Wands, they feel like you've noticed them, but they don't feel like you've necessarily, or like they've necessarily caught your attention. It's just very, like, yeah, she probably knows who I am, but I don't think she's into me. Maybe she thinks that I'm good looking, because with the Ace of Wands over here, that actually is stemming from their own self-confidence. They know that they're very pleasing on the eyes. So there's no denying that. They're not denying that. But they just think, with the energy of the Queen of Cups being present over here, that you are so, like I said, the word that I was hearing initially, ethereal, your beauty, your allure, your magnetism, your aura, whatever word you want to insert over here. I think I'm sensing, actually, with the Eight of Wands and the Ace of Wands, some amount of panic over here, that if they do not make a move, or if they do not make it known to you that they like you, there are so many people up for grabs. There are so many people who would jump at the opportunity to be with someone like you. So yeah, as of now, they don't think you're as much into them as they are into you, group 1. Let us go to your extended now. The link to that is in the description, where we will be finding out why exactly haven't they made a move yet, what are their sexual fantasies about you, and do you have any future with this crush of yours. I'll see you guys in the extended. If not, I'll see you guys over here next time. Do consider subscribing if you're new. Bye. Hello group 2, if you guys chose the second image, let's start your reading by finding out how does your crush feel about you. So the cards that came out for it were the King of Wands, and we have the Four of Swords. So group 2, first of all, your crush finds you incredibly attractive, all right? This is fire sign energy over here, the King of Wands. So think that Leo magnetism, like your aura, your face card, that game of yours, it's very strong. In fact, with the energy of the King of Wands over here, your crush has this feeling that that you're good looking. And for that reason, with the Four of Swords over here, they think that sometimes you act pricey. Now, of course, that might not be true. Maybe you're just very mindful of whom do you wish to speak to and whom not. But as is often the case with people who are good looking, they're misjudged. People think that they're being very haughty and they're being very proud. That might simply be the case over here. So there is no denying that your crush thinks you're incredibly hot. Smoking is what I'm hearing. It's almost as if you've done a spell on this person, which I'm guessing you haven't, but that is how they feel. They feel so smitten by you, group 2, that they think that, oh my gosh, how do I explain this attraction? It's crazy. I cannot stop thinking about her. I keep having all of these wet dreams about her. Am I under some spell? Has she done something? Or what's wrong? I've never felt this way before. And I can tell you they haven't, because with the Four of Swords over here and the King of Wands, it seems like usually this crush of yours likes to keep a low profile, or they usually keep to themselves. Or even if they do go out and speak with people, it's not, it's not like they're really looking to, how do I put this? Score a match or something. They're just talking for the heck of it. But that fire, that intensity, that attraction, to the point of, like, she's driving me crazy and it just does not make sense. That is how they're feeling about you. And the fact, group 2, with the Four of Swords over here, that you actually do not talk much with this person, it just keeps on adding more to that chemistry for them. It just keeps on adding more to that tension for them. It's very palpable. Anybody can cut it with scissors, honestly, when you guys are together in a room. Now, here's the thing. I think I see what you're playing at, group 2, because with the King of Wands over here, this crush of yours might be someone who's, even if they do not interact with people with that intention, but it does seem like they're very confident about they can get whoever they want. But when it comes to you with the Four of Swords over here, it's like fucking Uno reverse. You don't even talk to them that much. So however it is that you're playing your cards, group 2, let me tell you that it is absolutely working, because you have a crush on this person and they cannot stop thinking about you. They think that, oh, this might be someone, and this is a specific message, but this might be someone whom you've met at a gym or on a hike or a trek, some endurance sport of some kind. Because for some of you, this person has seen your toned body and they think it's absolutely banging. And they love the way that you look, that your clothes look on you, everything about you actually, everything about your looks. There is something especially about your collarbones and your jawlines, and if you have those rosebud lips, full lips, that is coming across over here as well, which your crush finds absolutely amazing. But like I said, the fact that you do not go above and beyond to extend yourself to them is what is keeping them on their toes for you right now, group 2. All right, now let us see, do they talk about you with their friends? And for that, we have the 9 of Swords and we have the 5 of Swords. So no, they do not talk about you with their friends, and there is good reason behind it. I'm actually picking up on 2 reasons. First, their friends honestly seem to be idiotic, I should say. Reason being that each time in the past, whether it is about you or whether it is about any other situation, any other emotional aspect of their life, whenever this crush of yours has tried to open up with their friends, with their so-called friends, expecting empathy, expecting them to understand your crush, they don't. They have no empathy, no sympathy, nothing to offer. In fact, it's highly likely that they mock your crush, they taunt your crush, or they ridicule your crush even. They might call it friendly fire, they might call it, like friendly roasting or whatever. But it does upset your crush. It does, which is why I don't think they really shared critical information with their friends in a really long time. And the other reason why they do not discuss about you with their friends is because with the 5 of Swords being present over here, before you came in their life, some previous relationship of theirs could have tanked horribly. And whoever that person was, whoever this ex of theirs was, they could have spoken about them at length with their friends. Oh, my girlfriend or my boyfriend is this and they're that and they're so good. And then when that relationship failed, and like I said, it failed horribly, that ex of theirs could have actually cheated on them with someone, lied to them, took their money, ran away, any horrible scenario you can think of with the 5 of Swords, they really suffered. And when that happened, these friends of theirs, instead of offering their condolences, they could have actually mocked them further. That, oh, your girlfriend, the one whose praises you wouldn't stop singing, she dumped you? Sucks for you. Crap like that. So because their friends are not the best listeners and they're not, unfortunately, the best people either, I honestly do not understand why this crush of yours chooses to hang out with such people. They're a bunch of, I'm fully convinced these guys would have been a bunch of bullies in school. But yeah, anyway, so that is the reason why they do not discuss you with anybody. You are a well-kept secret at this point, group 2. Okay, now let us find out, how does your crush think that you feel about them? So for that, we have the 6 of Wands in reverse and we have the Chariot. So here's the thing, because you do not really, like I said, take too much action towards this person, you do not really give them the same type of attention which they're very used to getting from everywhere else, they think that you are not interested. With the 6 of Wands being in reverse and the Chariot being upright, they think that what they want and what you want is probably not in alignment. Like they cannot stop thinking about you, they are crazy attracted towards you, they keep fantasizing about you and all of those things. But with the 6 of Wands in reverse, they feel that it's not reciprocated, that you're not interested in them. In fact, with the 6 of Wands in reverse, your crush thinks that you think that they're not good enough for you, that they're not worthy enough for you. And that is probably the reason why you choose to keep to yourself rather than interact with them like everybody else usually does. Sometimes with the energy of the chariot, they feel like this might be your game, like, like, what is she playing at, is she doing this on purpose? But that thought comes and goes. It's not something that stays with them. For the most part, they think that you're not interested. In fact, with the energy of the chariot being present over here, your crush honestly feels like you don't even think about them 1/4 of how much they think about you. If they think about you, let's say like a tablespoon's worth, you think about them maybe like 1/8 or 1/4 of a teaspoon. I don't know why I came up with that example, but it is what it is. So yeah, basically they think that it's just their fantasy that they're living in, they're imagining stuff, and meanwhile you're the one who's actually rooted in reality and you couldn't care less about them. Which of course we know isn't true, but that's what they think. So now let us move on to your extended and find out why exactly hasn't this crush of yours made any move towards you, even though they expect you to make a move towards them. What are their sexual fantasies about you, and do you have a future with them? The link to that extended reading is in the description box. So I'll see you there, and if not, I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Hello group 3, if you guys chose the third image, let's find out first, how does your crush feel about you? So the cards that came out for it are the 3 of Cups and the 2 of Swords. Interesting. So here's the thing, I don't think that this crush of yours is a very new entrant in your life. In fact, with the 3 of Cups, it is quite likely someone who has been a part of your community for quite some time now. Someone you grew up with, someone you studied with, somebody you work with, someone in the same social circle as you, a friend of a friend perhaps. Whatever it is, there does seem to be a close association with between you guys. They know you through someone, or they've always known you, something like that. And here's the thing, with the 2 of Swords being present over here, and something tells me that it's very mutual, your feelings for them have changed recently, as have theirs. All right, so it's not like you always had a crush on this person or they always had a crush on you. This might have been a recent development, even though the person in itself, like I said, isn't very new in your life. They honestly, with the 2 of Swords over here, it seems as if feelings for you caught them off guard. No, I can put that better. There's this energy of this whole thing sneaking up to them. Like, it's not something that they'd ever expected. They'd never expected that they'd fall for you, not because there's something so horribly wrong with you. It's just something, a thought maybe, like that never crossed their mind, because they always saw you as just a friend, or like just another person that they know through someone. One night has changed that. That's a very specific message that I got for some of you. The events of one particular night have led to this change of heart, have led to this change of feelings, perhaps for both you as well as for them, but for them most definitely. This might have been some sort of gathering, this might have been some rendezvous, whatever it was. The kind of conversations you guys had, the kind of looks that were exchanged, it definitely led them to believe that this might just be something more, or there can be something more to this. And that could have been when they started questioning, or like afterwards is when they started questioning themselves, how do I really see her? Like, do I really just think of her as a friend even now? No. What is this feeling? I've never felt this way for her, for group 3 before. Where is this coming from? But I like how it feels, and I want to feel more of it. And that is what's interesting. With the 3 of Cups being present over here, their whole perspective of you has shifted, group 3. So for instance, earlier when they only saw you as a friend, you guys would meet, chat, they would go their way, you would go your way. But now Now they notice everything, group 3. What are you wearing? The perfume that you're wearing, the fragrance that lingers, your favorite coffee place, your go-to order all the time. They know everything now. In fact, they seem to be more mindful of it all now. The Two of Swords tells me that the other people involved as in who are in this community with you guys, they are equally amazed at this change of tone and at this shift of behavior. They might ask you, do you think this person's acting funny, or why are you acting so funny with this person now? What's up? What has shifted? You don't say anything, they don't say anything. It's more of a silent agreement at this point that, okay, this feels like something, but that at this point we don't exactly know what it is. So the one thing that I can tell you for sure, group 3, is that this feeling, this situation, it is 100% mutual. All right, they feel for you exactly how you feel for them. They're just as confused as you are, but they're just as into it as you are. It feels just as good to them as it does to you. For some of you, and again, this is a very specific message, but for some of you with 3 of Cups, there might be a third party in the mix. I just saw 444. So third party in the situation might be that you guys work at the same company, or that one of you is already in a committed relationship, something like that, because of which also they're really having to think twice about before they do anything or say anything or even figure it out for themselves, what exactly is this feeling. Okay, now let's see, do they talk about you with their friends, group 3? And for that we have the Page of Pentacles and we have the Fool. No, they don't. They do not discuss about you with anyone. Their closest friends, siblings, family members, absolutely nobody. It's just something that they're brooding over themselves with the energy of the Page of Pentacles. You are living in their head rent-free, I can tell you that much. But here's the thing. How they start behaving when they're around you, or exactly the kind of things that go on in their mind, all of that is very different from how they act when your name is being brought up, or when it's you and it's them, but it's also a lot of people around. Their behavior shifts. So, for example, when it's just you both, they might be more mellow, they might be more soft, they might be more romantic. But when there are a lot of people around, they behave with you as usual, like they always used to in the past. It's like they do not want to draw attention, even though this thing is definitely getting attention, because I was getting that message that people have been asking you and them, what's up, what is there anything happening between you guys? But with the energy of the Page of Pentacles over here, because they haven't exactly figured it out for themselves, plus like I said, if there is a third party situation, that might also be adding to the mix. So because they do not have much clarity, they are not willing to discuss this with anyone at this point. In fact, with the Fool over here, I think they haven't really had this discussion with you either. And of course, if they did, you wouldn't have to resort to watching the tarot reading, which you are. So I'm guessing, or I'm actually very sure, that they haven't really communicated all of this to you. So they're trying to keep up the act that everything is between you guys is how it always is, but there has been a change of heart. From platonic, it is now most definitely romantic. And I think the reason why they're also so caught up in figuring out what exactly is happening is because it wasn't expected. They did not expect to fall for you the way they did. Like that one night. All right, now let's see, how do they think you feel about them, group 3? So for that, we have the Page of Wands and we have the King of Swords. Okay, so this is interesting. Group 3, this crush of yours, and especially if this is someone whom you've known for a very long time, they think that you don't really see them as someone good enough to be a partner to you. So, for example, let's say that this is someone whom you grew up with, right? So naturally then they assume that for you they'll always be that silly, goofy childhood, like that kid you grew up with. They think that you do not take them seriously. They think that you do not see them for the man that they have become now. They think that for you they'll always be that silly, stupid, goofy kid running around, wiping their booger in their pants or whatever the case might have been. And it bothers them. Because with the Page of Wands and the King of Swords, they feel like you don't, or you basically don't understand, or you're not seeing their evolution, or you're not in a position to see how much they've changed or how much they've grown. And it is irritating them because obviously, if you had entered their life at this juncture, at this phase, you would have only known them as the man they are today, as the person they are today. But there is history here. You've known them for a while. You've perhaps seen them go through different phases, like their punk phase and then their emo phase and whatnot. So you know too much about them. And it bothers them, and it's bothering them because since you know too much about them, since you've seen all of these different versions of them, which is why with the last card over here being the King of Swords, they think that you might not be taking them seriously, or you might not be taking any hints that they might be throwing your way seriously, because that's simply not how you see them. And even if there has been a shift, even if you do definitely see that no, they've matured, and I obviously see them as a man, I don't see them as the silly kid that I grew up with. They don't know that. In fact, it's highly likely over here with the Three of Cups and the Two of Swords that while their feelings for you have shifted, they might not be 100% convinced whether your feelings have shifted as well or not. So let's get into it a little bit more in the extended reading, where we will find out why exactly haven't they made a bold move towards you yet, what are their sexual fantasies about you, and do you have any future with this crush of yours, group 3. The link to the extended is in the description box, so I'll see you there, and if not, I'll see you next time. Bye.